You doing? Real quick, sometimes it's tough being right. And sorry, I want to adjust this just a little bit. If you watch this channel a bunch, you will know that on Saturday, I made a interesting call, and it was really about this virus going on in China that it's now spreading to the rest of the world. I basically put a number on it. And you can go back and listen. I think it was my Saturday morning daily Millionaire news. It might have been Friday. I'm still jet lagged. I have no idea what day it is. But anyways, I said, hey, if we get to over 2,000 by Monday, the stock market's going to be in trouble, right? This is going to be showing exponential growth. This will have spread to other parts of the world. And we're really going to start to be impacting consumers. And again, we all know the stock market has been probably looking for a reason to sell. And frankly, there's very few things bigger than a potential pandemic. So I expect today to be a down day pretty much across the world. All right, the market's not open yet, but I think it's pretty clear it's going to be a down day for the Dow, S&P, all of that. I think it's going to very likely be a down week unless we see a drastic turn in the escalation of identified cases, which I unfortunately don't see just given what I've read, right? There's a couple of things we need to start to understand. First and foremost, this particular virus spreads with human contact, which is not good. In addition, this is a virus that incubates for 10 days, and unfortunately, you are contagious during that incubation period. Unlike SARS, where you had to be full-blown, showing signs before you were contagious. Hence, a lot of the deaths in, stuff that found with SARS happened in hospitals. But there's also a couple of other things that I think bear repeating that I've heard no one else talk about. With SARS, when you were identified as being infected, mortality rates, meaning death, got as high as 80%. 8 in 10 people who contracted it died. It was scary. Scary, scary. Today, at least as the numbers they're reported, which you and I both know they can be fake or misleading, today the coronavirus or Wuhan virus is showing death at 3.4%. So nowhere close to what SARS was showing. So let's stop calling it like SARS because that's just inadvertently scary to folks. But let's also realize what's going on in the consumer's psychology. But to do that, let's first start in China, and I'll try to tie all this together for you. First off, China government, they ain't playing around. They have essentially shut down major cities. We're talking blockades, boulders in the freeways, lines cut. There are literally millions of people in China cut off from the rest of China, right? They are trying their best to keep this as isolated as possible. Again, going back to earlier points, unfortunately, the 10-day incubation period, a lot of people got out before that happened. But still, back to China. So the government's not playing around. Businesses are not playing around. Last week, we talked about Disney shutting down their theme park. Recently, I heard McDonald's closed. They stopped a marathon from being run. They are doing everything they can to keep people from gathering together. Now you see countries getting involved. You see Hong Kong declaring an emergency and cutting off essentially all transportation with China. You now have, identified cases in dozens of other countries. So this thing is spreading, and I don't think it's going to slow down. So I expect the stock market to have a rough week as consumer psychology is impacted. If you watch this Daily Millionaire news, and we talk every day, you know that I watch the consumer. Are they afraid or are they giddy? And it's about to get afraid. They're afraid. Now, again, let's run through some of the notes I have here. First off, near as I can tell as of this recording, or actually this is a live stream, while there's been identified cases in other countries, to date, knock on wood, no one has passed away. Second, I thought this was really funny. People are already calling on the Fed to potentially lower rates. I'm sorry. Are you kidding me? That's insane. The Fed can't lower rates because a couple of people caught pneumonia. I mean, in a foreign country. That's insane. That's just a bunch of people that are drunk at a party asking for more alcohol. I mean, I read that and people are on Wall Street, you're nuts. You're just crazy. You are literally somebody at a New Year's Eve party plastered and you're asking for more alcohol. The Fed does not need to step in, at least not yet. Could it get there? Sure. Are we there now? Come on, man. We're not there yet. What are we going to see in the U.S. economy? Well, again, I track a couple of things. I keep telling you that. I'm a very boring individual. I track the consumer, right, the psychology, and then I track the cost of money. The cost of money is about to get a lot cheaper. When people get afraid, governments get afraid, they throw money at bonds like no tomorrow. I expect bonds to be cheaper. I expect mortgages to be cheaper. You know, one of the side effects of fear is cheap money. Something else that I think is interesting, I found in my research, I did a video on Switzerland the other day, and it still strikes me that one way to produce lower rents is if you walk the fine line of negative rates. Negative rates lead to building boom. Building boom leads to vacancies. Vacancies lead to lower rents. And this all tracks with cost of capital. That's why I sort of brought that up there. Again, looking at what's going on, I don't see any impact yet on the consumers in the U.S. or the rest of the world for that matter. I do see some angry governments. Thailand's pretty pissed off. Hong Kong's obviously pissed off. But, you know, this has to get much worse. And it can. I mean, let's put a number on this, right? So we're already over 2,700 identified cases, 80 fatalities, and 461 critical. So by Friday, let's put a number on this. If we're over 25,000 by Friday, I mean, that's the exponential growth that I fear. This could get interesting. You know, if it kind of plateaus at 10, 12, 14, right, it starts to reduce this exponential growth. This too shall pass. But those are the kind of numbers I'll be watching, right? By Friday, if it's plus or minus 12, 13,000 identified cases, I think we'll be okay. If we're exploding to over 25,000, we have other cities shut down. We have doctors, unfortunately, getting infected and passing away in great numbers because they just don't have the ability to take care of themselves. This thing could get really bad. I don't see it getting that way, but it could. Again, remember the mortality rate. People need to start talking about this and stop trying to scare you. The mortality rate for SARS got as high as 80%, which is frightening. Frightening. Today we sit at 3.4%. I don't know what it is for the basic flu. Maybe it's 1%. I'm just purely guessing. So this is bad, but it's not SARS bad, right? So let's ratchet that back. So the last thing I want to bring up is the China economy going into this kind of bad situation was already very, very shaky. We've talked about it a bunch on this channel. It's about to get a lot worse. I mean, you can't just shut down major cities and scare the public and not see an impact in your economy. People are going to stop going to work. They're going to stop going to school. They're going to stop shopping. The China economy is about to have a horrible quarter, and there's nothing the government can do about it. I mean, they could throw money from helicopters and people won't even go in the streets to pick it up. China is going to have a bad quarter. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going on. The market will be closed by the time I wake up. So it'll be interesting to see how close I am on my call, but it's going to be bad. I see, this thing could get going and we could see 500-600 points down. So we'll see if I keep a good track record of being at least close to what's going on. So at the end of the day, watch it, see what's going on, see where we're at by Friday. It is certainly bad. I'm not trying to minimize anything, but it's not SARS bad. Let's stop calling it that. China's going to have a bad quarter. Cost of money is about to be cheap. People are going to start making different travel plans. There'll be a lot less people coming to Asia in the next month. They're going to go, you know what? Let's not go to Asia. Let's go to Europe. So they're going to see some traffic differences. Airlines are probably going to see a little bit less travel. So, let's see what's going on. I guess the last thing to point out for you is there's probably going to be some stocks hit in the next few days that don't have anything to do with travel or hotels or hospitals or anything like that. Again, not a stock guy, but if this gets crazy and people start throwing stuff out the windows, maybe time to look at stuff. But the market's been looking for a sell-off, and I think we just got one. So let me know what you think. Leave your comments below if you got a prediction for the end of the stock market by Monday. Let me know. I'm about to go to dinner and then go to bed. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Bye.